Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm doing the Monday Night Raw review from last night, 4/20/2015. Ladies and gentlemen, it's real simplistic. This show absolutely sucked dick. But I'm going to go into detail more why it sucked. There's a lot of things that I think could have been a whole lot better. And my God, man, it was the last Raw before Extreme Rules pay-per-view. So, overall, the show did suck, as I just mentioned. Now let's get into why it sucked. First off, we started off the show, Randy Orton doing a pretty decent promo inside the steel cage, giving his synopsis of what he's going to do inside the ring against Seth Rollins at Extreme Rules. And he was very descriptive, very detailed about what he was going to do, and pretty entertaining stuff. Really, what WWE's doing is not a very smart idea, I think, on their part, because they're making Randy Orton look very strong going into this pay-per-view and looking very obvious that he would win the title, even though we all know he is not. Making Seth Rollins at the same time looking very weak and pathetic. Which I don't think is a very smart idea on WWE's part. They're making him run around scared, worried, and concerned about what's going to happen to him. Seth Rollins came out later on during that promo, did his spiel. It was a pretty decent start off to the show. So, we go from there and we start with the matches. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where the show sucked dick. Okay? It really just sucked. They put some bad matches together that didn't really make much sense. And, by the way, also Randy Orton on top of it would be going all through the night, periodically RKOing everybody, since it's his last night that he could use the RKO on anyone until Extreme Rules. At Extreme Rules, he will not be able to use that finisher at all. So, moving into the card itself, we had Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. As we all may know, during the show, near the end, I think about the 10 o'clock hour, they mentioned that these two men will be in a Chicago street fight. So this match ended up being a no contest. Luke Harper ran away like a little bitch, and Dean Ambrose looked pretty strong in that match. We later on, also in the show, just to mention, we get a few, one thing that happens here is we have a WWE Tag Team Title #1 Contenders match. New Day beat the Luchador Dragons. And let me be honest with you guys. There was no sense whatsoever in having the Luchador Dragons lose to New Day. It was really lame. The ending was simplistic. Xavier Woods went underneath the ring, grabbed Sin Cara's leg, and New Day won by countout. It was a decent match by the Luchador Dragons. New Day was doing okay too, but they're not over with the audience. They're not even liked by the audience. They're hated completely, and not because they're bad heels. They're just not liked by the WWE audience altogether because of their gimmick. It's crap. It's not that great. And they seem to be the same people they were before they became part of a team. So, very disappointing match. Expected a lot better out of this. I expected the Luchador Dragons to face Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. They could, like I said last week, I believe I said my last week's Raw review, they could have the Luchador Dragons losing Tyson Kidd and Cesaro and have a build-up throughout the summer between these two tag teams and have a series of tag team title matches. I think that would have been the best idea to go with. And instead they go with New Day, which I don't think made much sense, but whatever. So they make up for it to the audience by going ahead and having Randy Orton, RKO, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. And that's two people he attacks during that segment. So, not a bad little ending to it, even though it sucked. But I expected a whole lot more out of this. And if they were going to have New Day win, why not have New Day win by pinfall or something? I mean, really, that was retarded. But that's not here or there. Moving on through this scenario, we also had Triple H come out, talk about the Tough Enough deal that's going on and going to happen next week on the USA, and how you can upload videos about so-called promos of why you should be on Tough Enough and yada yada yada. And Kane came out. He went ahead and spilled all of his feelings about everything that's going on the last couple of weeks, and that he wants to resign from his position with the Authority. And Triple H, I guess, convinces him not to, because I actually skipped this segment during the second half of it once he got done with the Tough Enough speech and all that BS. So he goes ahead, he tells Kane that he's going to go ahead and make him the guy that guards the door so nobody can get in or out of the cage, so to speak. And, it was okay, I guess. But I didn't think much of it. I don't think much what they're doing for these build-ups towards these matches are really all that great. Seth Rollins and Randy Orton themselves, they're doing a good job building up this match. But everything else, John Cena and Rusev is pretty good too. Those two matches are really good, got good build-ups. But one match that's really crappy and shouldn't even be happening is Big Show and Roman Reigns, which leads me to the next promo I do believe came next on this show, is Roman Reigns discussing about how he's not in the mood of talking. He wants to just fight and kick Big Show's ass. And Bo Dallas comes out, does his spiel. He gets Superman punched in the face and then speared. And then Roman Reigns does a little bit of a funny ending towards his speech, saying, "I'm going to kick Big Show's ass and you can believe that." I thought that was a pretty funny little gimmick infringement on Bo Dallas. I thought that was kind of cool. But overall, Big Show and Roman Reigns, they've done this match a gazillion times, as I've mentioned 100 times over again. And it's not that great. I think it's really stupid on their part to be doing that. But, we go ahead and we get a segment where they announce that John Cena's Open Challenge is going to be coming up in a little while. And Heath Slater's sitting there in the break room or cafeteria of the arena. He's eating some food, and he's mentioned that he's going to become the United States champion, beat John Cena for that title. And, he turns around and he looks and goes, and then he gets RKO'd through the table. Worst acting job ever, but very funny, to say the least. I thought that was kind of humorous. So, yeah, that was a good, funny little segment. And Randy Orton gets his third RKO. So, we go ahead, we move along in the show, and we get into these lame-ass matches, back-to-back, really crummy matches. Fandango versus Curtis Axel. Fandango wins in 1 minute and 15 seconds. Shitty-ass match, complete waste of time. Didn't even quite understand the point of this. I guess they're trying to build Fandango up into some mid-card type contender, maybe competing for a U.S. or an Intercontinental Championship belt. The next match after that is Naomi defeating Brie Bella. Okay. Didn't really quite pay much attention to this match. Thought it wasn't that great. So I tuned over to the Yankee and Detroit game. And God almighty, the Yankees suck. But that's a topic. That's a conversation for another time. So we go ahead. We have that match. It was an okay match, but not that big of a deal. Sheamus versus Zack Ryder. Sheamus it won by DQ. Dolph Ziggler came out of the ring and saved Zack Ryder's ass. So that was kind of interesting. I think they're giving a little bit of leverage between Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus, so it made a little bit of sense. But they kind of evened it up later on in the show, which I'll get into in just a few short moments. The next match after that was John Cena defending the United States title against Kane. Now, Kane. Why would they waste a perfectly decent match with Kane against John Cena for the United States title? Now, don't get me wrong, the match was not horrible, but it wasn't even necessary. John Cena versus Kane, I wasn't impressed by this whatsoever. It was a load of garbage. And I just think it was a complete waste of time. But, like I said, it wasn't a horrible match to say the least, but it still wasn't necessary at all. So I don't know. I think it was something, just to fill in time. I guess they didn't want to use a younger superstar later on. They just was using Kane as a way of him trying to prove a point to the authority that he isn't just some corporate dumbass anymore. He still is the Red Machine, and the devil's favorite demon, so to speak. But I was not too heavily impressed with it. Decent match, but not great either. So we go ahead. We get a Bray, also during this segment, Bray Wyatt, during the 10 o'clock hour, Bray Wyatt also did a promo again. This is the 4th promo in 4 fucking weeks. My God, when is this guy going to actually have a match or reveal who the hell he's talking about? Because quite frankly, I'm completely confused. He is making this so difficult to figure out. It's worse than a goddamn, trying to solve a Chris Jericho code that is trying to reveal that it's Chris Jericho returning back to the WWE. I think it was the most idiotic. It's the most idiotic thing that they're doing right now. It makes no sense. He doesn't even give any kind of sort of hints that even reveal the slightest idea of who he's talking about. And I just think it's completely insane. But moving on with this bullshit, because that's pretty much what it was. We got The Miz and Damien Mizdow competing against each other to determine who would have the name of The Miz. And, which was very shocking, by the way. The Miz won this match to retain his brand and his character and personality. So I thought it was kind of stupid. Summer Rae interfered in the match, nonetheless, which was very shocking. So that was kind of shocking to the audience, I guess. But again, where does that leave Damien Sandow? It leaves him pretty much with nothing now, and wasted time over, I don't know, probably like 4 to 6 months of wasted time of build up to just say, oh, The Miz is better than Damien Sandow. I mean, okay, what was the point of bringing him in altogether with The Miz? Kind of pointless to me, but whatever. Match sucked completely. Didn't really care for it. It was only 2 minutes and 50 seconds long. Not a very big deal of a match. I mean, it wasn't even pay-per-view quality. The next match after that was Ryback versus Adam Rose. Again, why are they continuously wasting match slots for these Raws and having like guys like Ryback and Dolph Ziggler and all these other good, decent talents facing these under the mid-grade level? I mean, they're not even facing guys that are mid-card wrestlers. They're facing nobodies. Facing guys that most of the time appear on Superstars and Main Event, shows that people don't even generally watch on a regular basis. It's completely idiotic and stupid, but hey, Vince McMahon wants to run it like crap, let him run it like crap. That's fine by me. I'm not getting paid to, watch his shit or go ahead and, whatever. I don't really give a shit. I'm a fan of this, but again, I'm not going to go ahead and scream to the top of my lungs just to say, hey, Vince sucks dick. I'm going to say it calmly and say it the way I, like a normal person should. And that's the truth. Vince McMahon does suck. He doesn't care about his audience, and he proves it week after week after week. So, final match. The Miz also got RKO'd by Randy Orton, nonetheless, just to let you know about that. And So moving along in the show, with the main event was Seth Rollins defeating Dolph Ziggler. Very decent match, good ending to the show. Again, Sheamus, as I mentioned earlier, Sheamus evened out the score. He interfered in Dolph Ziggler's match, and Seth Rollins hit a inverted DDT kind of finisher. They definitely have gotten rid of the curb stomp, so he's no longer allowed to use that move on anybody at this point in time. Hopefully, maybe they bring that move occasionally back into his matches just for, a little effect and enjoyment to see out of a match being used once in a blue moon, but not like every single match. I understand that they're trying to go with an idea of, preventing head injuries and everything else, but are they going to get a concussion every single time he uses that finisher? I don't think that that's quite the case. I think it should be allowed to be used once in a blue moon, maybe like on pay-per-view matches or big event matches or something like that. But week after week, I can understand them trying to avoid that from happening and giving anyone a concussion by accident. So I definitely understand that. But don't entirely take the move away from Seth Rollins, because that would really kill the move, because it was a very interesting and unique move that wasn't done by a lot of wrestlers at all. I don't think too many people have used that move ever in their career. So again, that was something that should have been that should be at least used once in a blue moon for him to use for entertainment purposes for the WWE audience. But anyway, overall, this show, there wasn't much to say about it. A very horrible. And by the way, also after the match was over, the cage lowered. Kane started getting pissed off at Seth Rollins because he was talking more smack about Kane. And Triple H ran out of the ring trying to stop Kane. They're on the stage, or the ramp, or whatever you want to call it. The cage is starting to be lowered, and then Randy Orton comes out of nowhere. Seth Rollins is running around the ring trying to get out of the cage. Randy Orton grabs his leg, tosses him off the ring ropes, and RKOs him. Very nice little ending there, just to, make the show a little bit better than what it was. But overall, guys, this show was an absolute bore fest. There wasn't nothing too highly to look forward to on this, and a very sad but pathetic way of ending the build-up towards Extreme Rules. So, give me your thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode of Raw for 4/20, 2015. And hit that subscribe button, by the way. Thank you very much, though, for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you enjoyed listening to my review on this. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side, alright? Bye.